Today in Cannabis News, the mayor of St. Louis, Missouri enacts a law to decriminalize cannabis citywide. The governor of Indiana shares his thoughts on pursuing statewide cannabis policy reform prior to legislative action on the federal level. And following resistance from state lawmakers, Montana's adult use cannabis regulatory development continues. It's Wednesday, December 15th, and this is your Trichomes Morning Buzz.
Broadcasting live from the Trichomes.com studios in Southern California. It's time for your Morning Buzz. We bring you late-breaking news that keeps you up to date with what's happening in the cannabis industry.
First up, Tashora Jones, the mayor of St. Louis, Missouri, enacted a law this week that repeals the criminalization of minor cannabis possession throughout the city. This occurs after Missouri residents approved Amendment 2 in 2018, which legalized medical cannabis usage and drew 82% backing from St. Louis locals. According to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, the legislation repeals municipal prohibitions and, with limited circumstances, prohibits law enforcement from upholding federal and state statutes on cannabis possession. Additionally, the sight or odor of cannabis cannot be the sole reason for arrests or searches. We are seeing a major shift in the way our country sees not just marijuana, but how it connects to public safety, incarceration, and economic opportunity in our communities, Mayor Jones said. This law will help reduce radical disparities in our policing, make our city safer, and make St. Louis more competitive in hiring for city positions.
Next up, Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb stated he isn't keen on backing statewide cannabis legalization before the U.S. government passes federal cannabis legalization, despite widespread bipartisan backing in the Indiana State House. "I took an oath," Holcomb explained to 13 News. "Let's just say I agree with it, and I also agreed to uphold state and federal law." Governor Holcomb stated that he is interested in seeing scientific studies on medical cannabis and has requested participation from Indiana University and Purdue University. "I'm happy to participate in learning more scientifically, medically, about potential medicinal uses and their positive effects. Now it needs to be legal, and that's going to have to start on the federal front first," said Holcomb, who has made similar comments in the past. In 2019, Holcomb confirmed that he had consumed cannabis while in college. Several state policymakers believe cannabis ought to be decriminalized at the very least, so that everyone found with cannabis might receive a citation and a monetary penalty instead of facing incarceration. Holcomb stated that he is willing to talk about it. "I don't think having possession of small amounts should ruin your life," he remarked, though he called into question the acceptable possession limit of cannabis.
Last up, Montana's adult use cannabis regulatory development is once again going forward. It was postponed when state legislators interfered last week with sudden objections. Following many draft regulations being altered, such as the rules on permits on Native American land and how firms control cannabis waste, the State Economic Affairs Interim Committee removed its bipartisan opposition, postponing the nascent sector's regulatory process. In the previous legislative session, the Montana legislature approved a substantial adult use cannabis proposal, and the state's revenue department must oversee it according to the intention of the legislation. Adults aged 21 years and up will be able to purchase recreational cannabis in Montana beginning January 1st, 2022. We got a lot of work done in a very short time frame because we understand how important these rules are to the industry, Montana Senator Shane Marigo said. "I appreciate that we took a little time here to do our best to improve the rules."
That was today's Buzz. Thanks for listening. For more cannabis news and insights from industry professionals and a place to discuss these stories and others, visit Trichomes.com.
And be sure to catch up with all of our other cannabis industry-related podcasts like Hash It Out, Tech and Cannabis, or the International Cannabis Conversations wherever you get your podcasts. For Trichomes.com, I'm Devin Leon.
And I'm RJ Balde, signing off.